But I really hoped to convey to you today the gestalt of sepia. This substance has been used since the time of Hippocrates. It's a soft-bodied animal, the cuttlefish. It's composed of 2 long tentacles with 8 appendages. The posterior resides in a shell, the front protrudes. The tentacles shoot out with a tremendous rapidity to eat their prey.
They attack with incredible speed and accuracy. In fact, I had to film them in slow motion so you could even see the action.
They're very beautiful. They're phosphorescent. They have a zebra-like pattern. They tend to cover themselves up with sand in the daytime. They use these arms to funnel up the sand, and they stay in this solitude, which is very interesting to us because of certain characteristics of the sepia nature. They're not a very interactive animal. They're a rather solitary animal. Their growth is actually dependent on rather high temperatures, on absence of light. The more the light, the less the maturation. The lifespan is relatively short, 18 to 24 months. Spawning, which is again the sexual energy of this remedy, is important. So in the animal, it is interesting to note that the spawning occurs relatively early, between 14 and 18 months. After mating, a female must affix its many eggs to an object on the ocean floor. 200 to 1,000 eggs. They're in a gelatinous material. It can take days just to fix these eggs to the ocean floor.
These swaying gardens of egg cases are scattered all along the California coast.
And then the ink sac prolapses, releases its contents, and the female dies.
Graphites, of course, is made from carbon. It's pure carbon. What's the other substance that we know that's made of pure carbon? Diamond. Carbon, of course, is the most central fact of life, correct? All life is based on carbon. The name carbon comes from the base root care, K-E-R, from Latin, which is the basic word from which we derive words like ceramic, cremation, charcoal. It's what's left after you burn everything off. Homeopathically, then, carbon is the point that's where physical, non-living material turns into living material. Carbon is that point around which things are either living or not living. Carbon can either be living or it can either be organic or inorganic. Yeah, and the boundary between these two becomes very blurred. Like graphite, of course, it comes from decayed, living substance that gets compressed and all the other elements get, eroded out, and you're left with just carbon. And there's a cycle between living plant, decaying peat, then charcoal, then denser charcoal and petroleum and so forth, so that it goes from a living thing down to pure elemental carbon, and then that carbon is absorbed by way of carbon dioxide back into plants and reconstituted into living structure, and then eaten by the cows, who are eaten by the humans, who then come back, and this cycle occurs. So carbon is either on its way down or on its way up, out of life into pure inorganic substance, on its way from inorganic substance back into life. What separates that which is not living from that which is living is the capacity to react. And so the basic theme in graphite, which is pure carbon, has to do with dullness and incapacity versus overreactivity. This is the axis around which we can understand Graphites. Graphites has both sides, and even though one patient may express mostly one side or mostly the other, you'll see always both. In the dreams, in the patient, somewhere you'll see both sides of this axis.